Honorable Olamilekan Adiola, FCA, FCTI, Lagos West Senatorial District. Your Excellency, invitation to my conferment of Institutional Fellowship Honors Award at Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, Ogun State. I have the pleasure to extend warm greetings to you and your exalted office. It is with utmost pleasure that I wish to inform you that I received a notice from the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, one of the leading technological training institutions in Nigeria, of the management's unanimous decision to confer on me in court the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro Fellowship Award, end of court. It is pertinent to note that this award came about as a result of my impact in the educational sector and my unreserved proclivity for promoting academic excellence. In line with the above, I write to formally invite you and my colleagues to the convocation ceremony, where I will be formally decorated with the academic robe and presented with a certificate and medals as a distinguished fellow of the Polytechnic Ilaro. The event is scheduled to hold as follows: date Wednesday, 30th March 2022, venue Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, Ogun State, time 11 a.m. prompt. Your presence at this event will be highly appreciated. Kindly accept the assurances of my highest regards. Thank you, yours sincerely, Senator Solomon Adiola, FCA, FCTI, Chairman, Senate Committee on Finance. Letter from Distinguished Senator Dr. Kola Balogun, Oyesa Senatorial District. Mr. President, appreciation and gratitude. My heart is fully filled with unlimited joy and happiness as I put pen to paper to express my heartfelt satisfaction with the glaring display of love and affection your good self and members of the Red Chamber showed to my family, the people of Ibadan land, government and the people of Oyo State at the recently concluded coronation ceremony of my senior brother, Dr. Senator Mohud Olalekan Ishola Balogun Ali Akomade II, the new Olubadan of Ibadan land. My words of thanks and praise are due to all of you who supported in making the coronation the most glorious day, the most important, more widely attended event of our time in Baden by dignitaries from all over the country. You all came together and created a venue that was unparalleled. I think that everyone who sat at the ancient Mapo Hall will remember the spectacle for years to come. You have all created a day that will always be a source of pride and pleasure for us. I appreciate your presence, and I will always be grateful to every one of you. On behalf of the newly crowned Kabesi, my family, the Olubadan in council, the government and the people of Oyo State, I thank you immensely for sharing the joyful occasion with us. From the bottom of our hearts, I truly and sincerely appreciate your time, prayers, and moral support that went a long way to making the event a resounding success. I'm forever indebted to you all. I thank you, signed Dr. Prince Kola Balogun. Birthday announcement. I wish to congratulate distinguished Senator Geshan Basi, whose birthday was 18th of March 2022. On behalf of the Senate, I wish the distinguished Senator a happy birthday, long life, prosperity, and many more years of service to our fatherland. Let me in like manner congratulate some of our colleagues in the House of Representatives among their principal officers. Honorable Ndudi Olimelu, the Minority Leader, 22nd of March. Honorable Adesegu Adekoya, Deputy Minority Whip, 21st March. On behalf of the Senate, I wish the Minority Leader and the Deputy Minority Whip of the House of Representatives happy birthdays, long life, prosperity, and many more years of service to our fatherland. Petitions. Leader of the Senate. Clerk, this place is extremely hot. Is there anything you can do, please? It's very hot.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the first business of the day is the presentation of an executive bill standing in my name on the Nigeria Start-up Bill 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigeria Start-up Bill 2022, SB 966, first reading.
Nigeria Start-up Bill 2022, SB 966, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Pharmacy Council of Nigeria Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2022, HB 334, first reading.
Pharmacy Council of Nigeria Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2022, HB 334, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the National Biosafety Management Agency Act 2015, Amendment Bill 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Biosafety Management Agency Act 2015 Amendment Bill 2022, SB 968, first reading.
National Biosafety Management Agency Act 2015 Amendment Bill 2022, SB 968, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Biodun Olujimi on the Federal College of Agriculture Ishe Oru, Ekiti State Establishment Bill 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Agriculture Ishe Oru, Ekiti State Establishment Bill 2022, SB 964, first reading.
Federal College of Agriculture Ishe Oru, Ekiti State Establishment Bill 2022, SB 964, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of the distinguished Senator Muhammad Sani Musa on the Finance Management and Control Repeal Act and Reenactment Bill 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Finance Management and Control Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2022, SB 969, first reading.
Finance Management and Control Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2022, SB 969, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day is the second reading of the National Tax Crimes Commission Establishment Bill 2022. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this great chamber on Tuesday, 8 March 2022. Mr. President, we would invite distinguished Senator Oji Uzo Kalu to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
The Chief of the Federation, distinguished Senator Oji Uzo Kalu.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleague, it is indeed an honor and great pleasure to be given the opportunity to lead the debate on this all-important bill. This bill was first read on March 8, 2022. To further underscore the importance, my distinguished colleagues graciously passed it on the same day. Now, to further progress the bill in the legislative process, I have present the lead debate. Taxation is necessary and essential to run any state. The development of any nation depends on the amount of revenue generated by the government for the provision of infrastructure facilities. Taxation is a key to unlocking the resources required for public investment and infrastructure growth. Therefore, a fair, just, efficient, and simple tax administration system is crucial to induce confidence among citizens to pay their taxes as a national and patriotic obligations. Thus, in a bid to address the taxpayers' grievances and complaints promptly and without any hassle, an effective redressal system is vital. This proposed bill is a vigilant attempt to balance the rights of the taxman with those of the taxpayer. With an increased globalized economy and technological advancement, we are witnessing transitional organized crime groups and other perpetrators and abuse of vulnerabilities in financial system. These fatalities can have a significant and devastating impact on national security. By establishing a National Tax Crime Commission, we are emboldening the criminal tax investigators with their unique forensic accounting skill to be well positioned to combat these national security threats and pursue illicit financial flows that were either derived from tax evasion, international tax schemes, cybercrime, and terrorist financing. In this regard, countries as United States, United Kingdom, Netherlands, Australia have auditing and investigative independent agencies such as ITO, FUTA of United States and the House of Common Treasury Committee and Tax Ombudsman of United Kingdom and the Inspector General of Tax and Tax Ombudsman of Australia. This is obtainable even in African countries such as Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, and etc. And when this commission is created, it will be reported to National Assembly, not the Minister of Finance, like the FIRS. So the bill is for the establishment of external examiner, a scrutiner for checks and balances in tax administration. Objective of the bill. This bill seeks to establish the National Crime Commission as provided a different framework to show violation of tax laws and indeed as a criminal offenses and that effective sanction apply in practice. B, provide the most effective organ in addressing tax crimes using wide varieties of strategies for encouraging compliance to effectively respond to the different attitudes of taxpayers to comply with their obligations. To ensure that the laws related to tax crimes are effective in practice by providing a coherent strategy for enforcing the law. D, complement the federal revenue in ensuring compliance with tax payment of tax. E, develop and implement a national policy for tracking down tax defaulters. F, develop a tax compliance strategy. G, for provide an efficient and effective mechanism in administrating the Nigerian tax system. H, and to protect taxpayers' rights by serving as a tax ombudsman. to educate the citizen on tax matters, to collaborate with relevant stakeholders to ensure payment of taxes and proper remittance to the Federation account, to provide a transparent platform at all matters relating to tax, provide a sustainable finance and revenue for the government, to review and address complaints by taxpayers regarding a service matter of and procedures, administrative or matter arising from the application of a tax act. Content of structure. The bill has 33 clauses into 7 parts, namely 1. Establishment of National Tax Crime Commission. 2. Functions of the Commission. 3. Structure of the Commission. 4. Membership and zonal operation of the Commission. 5. Staff of the Commission. 6. Financial provisions. And 7. Miscellaneous provisions. Conclusion. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I equally want to use this opportunity to tell you that if Tax Crime Commission is created, it will not be a burden to the federal government recurrent expenditure. It will be no burden at all. Instead, the taxpayers will be the one that will enjoy it. The essence of this bill is to ensure that the taxpayers stop crying. If this bill is passed into law, the commission set up, it will expand the tax net. The taxpayers will enjoy and the government will also enjoy. Even the FIRS will be better off. I want to assure you that this commission, after its enactment, will not only create jobs, but also will double whatever federal revenue is currently generating. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I respectfully solicit your cooperation to support this bill for expeditious passage into law. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Issa Jibrin.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibrin, representing the very good people of Kogi East. Mr. President, first I want to commend the mover of this bill, the sponsor of this bill. Oh, okay. Okay, Your Excellency, I rise to second that the bill for an act, okay, to establish the National Inspector General for Tax Crimes Commission to address revenue leakages emanating from non-payment and underpayment of taxes, irregularities in the assessment, reporting and remittances of taxes, to prevent and combat tax-related crimes, to plug all leakages in the tax administration system, to ensure the protection of taxpayers' rights and for related matters. I rise to second this bill as properly moved by the Chief Whip of the Senate.
All right, thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that this bill now be read the second time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Flag of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the National Inspector General for Tax Crimes Commission to address revenue leakages emanating from non-payment and underpayment of taxes, irregularities in the assessment, reporting, and remittances of taxes, to prevent and combat tax-related crimes, to plug all leakages in the tax administration system, to ensure the protection of taxpayers' rights, and for related matters, 2022, second reading.
A bill for an act to establish the National Inspector General for Tax Crimes Commission to address revenue leakages emanating from non-payment and underpayment of taxes, irregularities in the assessment, reporting and remittances of taxes, to prevent and combat tax-related crimes, to plug all leakages in the tax administration system, to ensure the protection of taxpayers' rights, and for related matters, second reading taken. And bill is referred to the Committee on Finance to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, The second order of the day is the second reading of the Nigeria Economic Diversification Bill 2022. The distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this great chamber on Wednesday, 8th December 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the distinguished Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, the Deputy Whip of Nigeria, to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
The Deputy Chief Whip, Senator Sabi Aliyu.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I am Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi. I represent Niger North. Mr. President, and my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on this very crucial and important bill.
The Deputy Chief Whip, you know the condition of this chamber.
Yes, I will speak to you.
This document is very bulky, and I imagine that you need to give us an abridged presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, and my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on this very crucial and important bill, which seeks to establish the Nigerian Economic Diversification Council and to provide for comprehensive framework, structures, programs, for strengthening Nigerian capacity development in order to diversify the Nigerian economy for national self-sufficiency, job creation, international competitiveness of Nigerian domestic businesses, and reduce capital flight. The bill was read the first time in this Hollow Chamber on Wednesday, 8 December 2021 as Senate Bill 875. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this lead debate will seek to give the following: the urgency of now for Nigeria to diversify its economy, the imperative of the Nigerian Economic Diversification Bill, and what the bill seeks to achieve and how it will achieve it through the content and organization of the bill. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the fundamental basis of our democracy is anchored on our Constitution, and specifically Section 14, subsection 1b, states that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Furthermore, Section 16 states that the state shall direct its policy towards ensuring the promotion of a planned and balanced economic development, that the material resources of the nation are harnessed and distributed as best as possible to serve the common good, that the economic system is not operated in such a manner as to permit the concentration of wealth or the means of production are exchanged in the hands of few individuals or of a group. The crafting and drafting of the Nigerian Economic Diversification Bill took note of this provision and thus seek to achieve the following. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, you agree with me that more than half of our national revenue derives from oil exports. Nigeria's economic fortunes are tied to the boom and bust cycles of the oil market. Those fortunes have waned way below expectations in recent past, and with more than 1/4 of our labor force jobless, it's time to question the country's economic pathway. For decades, the mantra of economic diversification characterized attempts to reverse Nigeria's dependence on oil with little or no progress. Despite numerous reforms, international loans, and restructuring programs, millions of Nigerians live in deteriorating conditions of poverty. The current coronavirus pandemic, combined with mounting debt obligations and declining GDP, gives new urgency to this issue. The urgency of now for us to diversify the Nigerian economy is real, Mr. President. Mr. President, Nigeria's economic fortunes, like I said, are tied down to the oil market, and we've seen the drops of recent. Let me move to page 3. Economic diversification, therefore, entails not just a transition away from reliance on a few commodities, but also structural transformation as seen by improved productivity, growth, and development. It facilitates the diversification of factors of production, trade, and revenue through various dimensions. Inadequate infrastructure such as lack of proper transportation and frequent power outages make it difficult for firms, particularly in the industrial cycle, to thrive. Mr. President, in developing this bill, we've had to interface with the following: Nigeria Economic Summit Group, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Ship Owners Association of Nigeria,
Nigeria Internet Registration Association, Nigeria Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, Nigeria Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, Nigeria Association of Small Scale Industrialists, Information Technology Association of Nigeria, and Federation of Agricultural Commodity Association of Nigeria. The bill has 42 parts consisting of 375 clauses, all dealing with the various aspects of diversifying the Nigerian economy. Mr. President, the governance structure of this bill is crafted such that Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be the chairman of the board, while sectoral ministries that have critical role to play will be members, alongside with members of the organized private sector. Mr. President, the intent here is to bring all these actors together so that when decisions are taken, they can truly be executed and followed through. Objectives of the bill, like I said, is to actually support and provide a legislative framework that will guide diversification of the Nigerian economy. Application and scope of the bill, that is at page 5. The provision of this bill are to be applicable to all ministries, agencies of the federal government, and private businesses. However, development in the oil and gas sectors are excluded from the application of this bill. The provision of the bill in relation to some of the sectors on solid minerals, for example, the bill identifies some critical sectors, industries in which there are lack of capacity development, thereby depriving the country of revenues. Consequently, the bill made provisions for the development of Nigerian indigenous capacity in these sectors or subsectors. For example, lack of indigenous capacity development in the solid minerals was identified as acquisition of modern mining equipment by Nigerians to mine solid minerals for the benefit of the country, which are since giving room for foreigners to unlawfully collaborate with indigenous Nigerians to exploit various solid minerals and ferry these resources out of the country without any benefit to the country. On ICT, the Nigerian domain name .ng, which sought to be the pride of the country in the internet world, is not even used by some government officials in Nigeria for no just cause. Nigerian businesses or entities seem also to be ashamed of using the .ng domain name. They prefer foreign domain names. Sadly, billions of dollars and employment opportunities are lost to other countries as a result of lack of indigenous capacity development and patronage of indigenous products in the ICT sector. On manufacturing and power sectors, I have in my earlier debate under my general introduction supported the apt and unavoidable opinion canvassed in diversifying the Nigerian economy by various actors. And let me move to page 7. One national challenge against result-oriented diversification in the manufacturing sector of the economy is the dumping of foreign goods and contrabands on the country. Foreign substandard and over-subsidized goods act as barriers to the development of the manufacturing sector in the country. To arrest this distortive situation, clauses 340 to 342 of the bill provide for the establishment of National Committee on Anti-Smuggling, Counterfeiting and Dumping, to be headed by a member of the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. It is essential to mention that the bill adopts the twin concepts of import substitution and export expansion to achieve diversification and to ensure that this approach works and seamlessly too. Mr. President, on the maritime sector, for example, it is a huge sector in which Nigeria continuously loses foreign earnings to foreign shipping companies. The few indigenous Nigerian shipping companies are most times denied patronage for no good reason or cause shown. Even Nigerian government officials and Nigerian companies do not see the need to patronize these few shipping companies. This has created a discouraging situation for the few Nigerian shipping companies, while creating golden opportunities for foreign ship owners to utilize the vast economic potentials in the maritime sector. Mr. President, the country is in a pathetic situation in the international maritime industry, as even indigenous Nigerian seafarers who will have earned billions of dollars and send such money to the Nigerian economy through the maintenance of membership of their families resident in Nigeria are lacking. It is sad that even one Nigerian Maritime Academy, ORON, cannot produce qualified seafarers to compete for jobs in the international maritime industry, unlike the positive situation in Ghana. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, the voyage for a fair share of income for Nigeria in the international maritime industry is not forward-looking, but to promote effective and efficient diversification in this sector. Clauses 209 to 225 provide remedies to this. On the health sector, another sector that special capacity development and content monitoring is required to develop the Nigerian economy is the health sector. Nigerian business development in the health sector is neither here nor there. Medical tourism is now the order of the day, as we all know, and definitely Nigeria has lost more than 1 billion as it is allocated to the medical tourism abroad. There is less than 1 billion that could be made available to other critical sectors of the economy. This bill identifies 4 areas in health challenges in the country that shows strain is made on the foreign reserves for lack of local development and capacity. They are in the area of oncology, orthopedics, nephrology, and cardiology. To arrest the continuous drain of foreign reserves and also to provide reliable and world standard domestic capacities in these areas, provisions have been made in the bill. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on agriculture and agro-allied product sector, the importance of the agricultural sector cannot be overemphasized. There is also a lack of synergy between the agricultural sector and the other critical sectors of the economy, especially the manufacturing sector. The bill, in order to promote sustainable agricultural system with industrial-based support, deliberately made provisions for backward and forward linkages as provided in the bill. Mr. President, recently, precisely on 9th March 2022, the Honorable Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment has recommended a law on these provisions of the bill, which state that no foreign company or entity can buy agricultural produce directly from Nigerian farmers. Summary of the benefits of the bill. Mr. President, this bill will definitely help us to tackle the challenges that will come with the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. It will save a lot of foreign currency to us, and it will create massive employment opportunities. Mr. President, funding of the bill has also been provided through surcharge, through various directorates established in the bill. Conclusion and prayers. Mr. President, I believe in our legislative agenda, we have critically included diversifying the Nigerian economy, and this bill seeks to provide that legislative framework for this. With this, Mr. President, I urge that my colleagues support that this bill be read the first time. I mean the second time. The second time. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you. We will take only one decision. Senator Sadiq Suleiman.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, I rise to second that we read for the second time the bill on the Nigerian Economic Diversification Bill 2022 SB 875. In seconding this bill, let me thank my brother, Senator Abdullah Ali Sabi, for bringing this forward. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, diversification of our economy is a song that everybody has been singing, and we are yet to see a really comprehensive diversification, despite so much effort by the Buhari-led administration. Having a bill to give a legislative framework and a backing is a good starting point, Mr. President. And I thank distinguished Senator Abdullah Sabi for giving us a very comprehensive bill that covers the key areas where, as a country, we do have comparative advantage. Solid minerals, maritime, agriculture, manufacturing, health sector, name it. He has eloquently presented all the areas that we really need to diversify our economy to provide jobs for our people, save our hard currency, and
allow the economy to grow, to cater for over 200 million people, most of whom are left behind right now. And to get out of this poverty line for most of our people, this bill, Mr. President, my distinguished colleague, is a big opportunity for this country to get it right. Therefore, Mr. President, I urge our colleagues to support this bill to be read for the second time. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that this bill be now read the second time, say aye. Those, are you against? Also against.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Senate President. My name is Chimaro Kennamai, and I represent Enugu East Senatorial Zone. Before I state my...
Please, distinguished colleagues, let's listen to our colleagues.
May I convey my deep respect to distinguished Senator Abdullahi Ali Sabi, Niger North, and Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate. In his enunciation of the bill, he mentioned 10 different economic agencies. These agencies are also duplicated in the states and the Federal Capital Territory. And we also have the National Economic Council. As other advanced democracies are moving into lean governance and digitalization, what we see here is an attempt to continue to overburden the federal bureaucracy, to unitarize economic management. This bill is yet another attempt to put a drain on national resources and the taxpayers. I hereby oppose vigorously. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody opposed? Thank you very much, Oba. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that this will be now read the second time, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to enact the Nigerian Economic Diversification Bill to establish the Nigerian Economic Diversification Council and to provide for comprehensive framework, structures, programs, and schemes for strengthening Nigerian capacity development in order to diversify the Nigerian economy for self-sufficiency, job creation, international competitiveness of Nigerian domestic businesses, and for other related matters, 2022, second reading.
A bill for an act to enact the Nigerian Economic Diversification Bill to establish the Nigerian Economic Diversification Council and to provide for comprehensive framework, structures, programs, and schemes for strengthening Nigerian capacity development in order to diversify the Nigerian economy for self-sufficiency, job creation, international competitiveness of Nigeria, domestic businesses, and for other related matters. 2022 second reading taken, and the bill is referred to the Committee on National Planning and Economic Affairs to report back within 4 weeks. Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the second reading of the Federal Medical Center Oshogbo Osun State Establishment Bill 2022. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read the first time in this great chamber on Wednesday, 24th February 2021. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the distinguished Senator Biodun Olujimi.
Chief Whip. What is the Chief Whip? Okay. All right, go ahead, leader.
The second time.
Distinguished Senator Surajuddin Ajibola Basiru, Osun Central.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Dr. Surajuddin Ajibola Basiru.
I'm Senator representing Osun Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I express gratitude for being given the opportunity to, before you today, this morning, lead a debate on the bill to establish Federal Medical Center, Osogbo, in Osun State. This bill seeks to establish a Federal Medical Center in Osogbo. The bill is divided into 6 parts, 28 sections, and it was read for the first time on the 24th day of February 2021. The provision, Mr. President, the provision of healthcare in Nigeria remains the function of the 3 tiers of government: the federal, state, and local governments. The tertiary healthcare is provided by teaching hospitals and specialist hospitals, and the wherewithal to establish such lies with the federal government because of the considerable resources required. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you will agree with me that our healthcare system has been under serious challenges in terms of infrastructure, adequate funding, and policy-making deficit, which are led to a seeming progressive deterioration in quality healthcare delivery and an almost imminent collapse of our healthcare system. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, you will agree with me that the issue of health is very sacrosanct. In fact, the right to life is meaningless without good healthcare delivery. And it is not gainsaying that health is wealth. Therefore, government has the duty to make available, affordable, accessible healthcare facilities to the government. Presently, we have 22 federal medical centers in Nigeria, and most of them are located at state capital. Incidentally, in the Osun State has 30 local governments, and as 2016 census, it is rated the 19th most populous state in Nigeria, with an estimated population of about 4.7 million Nigerians. Regrettably, none of these 22 federal medical centers is in Osogbo, the capital of the state. Mr. President, the core objective of the bill under reference is to facilitate access to standard health facilities by the people of Osun State, particularly the people in Osogbo, the capital, and its environs, where it is being proposed to be sited. Currently, health facilities on the ground in the states are not enough, particularly tertiary healthcare facilities, not enough to cater for the health demands of the people. The bill is a substitute and indeed an appeal to the federal government and people of Nigeria to come to the rescue of the people of Osun State. Establishment of a federal medical center in Osogbo, Mr. President, will go a long way in mitigating capital flight through medical tourism and also create employment opportunities for the people. Citing a federal medical center in Osogbo will assist both the state government and the federal government to synergize and achieve formidable results in terms of healthcare delivery at that level. The proposed federal medical center Osogbo, Osun State, when operational, shall provide effective and cost-effective medical services to my constituents in Osun Central Senatorial District, Osun State, and Nigeria at large. At this juncture, I urge Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues with profound respect to painstakingly deliberate on and support this bill for passage into law, as its passage will go a long way in ameliorating the medical needs of my constituents while also bridging the healthcare delivery deficit gap in my state and the neighboring states. Once again, I urge distinguished colleagues to support that the bill be read a second time. In line with Order 76, Sub 3 of the Senate Standing Order 2022 as amended, a compendium of the financial implications for the establishment of the Federal Medical Center Osogbo, Osun State is hereby attached. Mr. President, I humbly move that this bill be read the second time. I so move. Thank you for the indulgence.
Distinguished Senator Bima Mohammed Enagi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, my highly respected, distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Bima Mohammed Enagi. I represent the people of Niger South from Niger State. I rise to second the bill by my brother and my neighbor, Dr. Dr. Ajibola Bashiru. It is very clear, Mr. President.
No, that the bill be read the second time.
I will say that.
But you said that first.
Senator Susom, please leave Senator Bima Energy alone.
For protecting me, I rise to second the bill and to support the bill, that the bill be read the second time in the chamber here. My reasons for supporting the bill are very clear. The first and most important is that health is wealth. In this country, we don't have enough medical centers. Osogbo is an historical town with very large population, and also have neighboring towns with fairly large population. And the essence of having a medical center in Osogbo cannot be overemphasized. I would like to, without wasting too much time, I support the second reading of this bill. Mr. President, thank you.
Senator Susom, you wanted to contribute?
Yeah, Mr. President, I'm Dr. Suswam, Benue North Central. What I was doing was, I was guiding him, but Mr. President, this is a bill that all of us as a representative of our people should support. You know that we have a large deficit of health facilities in our country. And for the single senator to try to bring such a facility to his people is commendable. And I think that there is no doubting the fact that the people of his constituency will benefit immensely. And even people who are traversing and transiting through Osogbo. So, Mr. President, I also stand here to give my voice strongly that this bill be read the second time, Mr. President, and so submit.
Thank you. Those who hold that this bill be now read the second time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide the legal framework to establish the Federal Medical Center, Osogbo, Osun State, and for related matters. Second reading.
A bill for an act to provide the legal framework to establish the Federal Medical Center, Osogbo, Osun State, and for related matters 2022, second reading taken. And the bill is referred to the Committee on Health to report back within 4 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleague, the fourth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions on the confirmation of appointment and renewal of members of the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. They are as follows. Number one, Professor Muhammad Adaya Salisu, new appointment. Dr. Mo Omamegbe, new appointment. Professor Michael Obada, renewal. Professor Festul Adiola Adenikinji, renewal. Professor Aliu Sanusi Rafindadi, renewal. Dr. Robert Asogwa, renewal. Alhaji Aliu Ahmed, renewal. The single senators will call that the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, order to the committee on Tuesday, 14th March 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the single senator Obasani, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Obasani, Kaduna Central.
My speaker. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, Ubasani representing Kaduna Central, I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and Other Financial Institutions on the confirmation of appointment of members of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria. I do move, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Betty Jocelyn Apiafi.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Betty Apiafi. I represent Rivers West Senatorial District. Mr. President, I rise to second the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions on the confirmation of appointment of members of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria as a second.
Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions on the confirmation of appointment of members of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank as listed, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished Senator Obasani, you may lead the report, please. Chairman, you may present the report, please.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I remain Senator Obasani, representing Governor Central. Mr. President, the Senate at its sitting on Tuesday, 15 March 2020, considered the request of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federation, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR.
Chairman, you don't have to go through the entire report like that. Okay, thank you.
For the confirmation of appointment of the following persons as members of the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The request was there after referred to the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions for further legislative action. Committee action. The committee requested the Senior Special Advisor to the President of National Assembly Matters, Senate, to furnish it with copies of academic and professional qualifications, code of conduct acknowledgement slip of asset declaration, security clearance, and other relevant documents in respect of the nominees. Findings. The committee findings were as follows: that their appointment is in accordance with Section 12(2) of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007. 2, that the nominees possesses the academic qualification, technical knowledge, and professional experience to be members of the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC of the Central Bank of Nigeria. 3, that the committee do not receive any petition against their nominations for appointment as members of Monetary Policy Committee, MPC of the Central Bank of Nigeria. 4, that the nominees have been cleared by the Nigeria Police Force, Department of State Services, DSS, and possesses the Code of Conduct acknowledgement slip. 5, that Alhaji Aliyu Ahmed is the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, and will serve as the representative of the Ministry in the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC. Conclusion. The committee wishes to sincerely express its appreciation to the Senate for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. As so moved, Mr. President.
Any comments, Leader, Committee of the Whole?
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that this Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider this report. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Approval. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Mohammed Adaya Salisu as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Mo Omamebe as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Michael Obadan as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Festus Adiola Adeni Kinju as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Professor Aliyu Sanusi Ravindai as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Dr. Robert Osogwa as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Will the Senate approve the nomination of Alhaji Aliyu Ahmed as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move a motion that this distinguished chamber resumes plenary to allow the chair to report progress. I so move.
Minority.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate, in the Committee of the Whole, considered the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions on the screening of Mr. President's nominees for appointment as members of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria and approved the nominations of Professor Mohammed Adaya Salisu, new appointment, Dr. Mo Omar Megbe, new appointment, Professor Michael Obadan, renewal, Professor Festus Adiola Adeni Kinju, renewal, Professor Aliyu Sanusi Ravindai, renewal, Dr. Robert Osogwa, renewal, Alhaji Aliyu Ahmed, renewal as members of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. We are going to do confirmation now. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Mohammed Adaya Salisu as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Mohammed Adaya Salisu is hereby confirmed as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Michael Obadan. No, sorry. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Omar Megbe as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Michael Obadan is hereby confirmed as a member. The nomination of Dr. Omar Megbe is hereby confirmed as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Michael Obadan as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Michael Obadan is hereby confirmed as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Festus Adiola Adere-Kinju as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Festus Adiola Adere-Kinju is hereby confirmed as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Professor Aliyu Sanusi Rafindadi as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Professor Aliyu Sanusi Rafindadi is hereby confirmed as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria. Will the Senate confirm the nomination? Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Dr. Robert Asogwa as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Dr. Robert Asogwa is hereby confirmed as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria. Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Alhaji Aliyu Ahmed as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Alhaji Aliyu Ahmed is hereby confirmed as a member of the Monetary Policy Committee in the Central Bank of Nigeria. Congratulations to all of them. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the fifth order of the day is the consideration of the report of the Joint Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes on the recommittal of Clause 74 of the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Bill 2022. The two senators will recall that Clause 74 was recommitted to the Joint Committee for further legislative action on Tuesday, 15th March 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Tungu Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, Chairman of the Joint Committee, to move the motion for the Senate to consider their report.
Distinguished Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, Ekiti Central.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Michael Opeyemi Bamidele. I represent Ekiti Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Joint Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters and Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes on the recommittal of Clause 74 of the Proceeds of Crimes Recovery and Management Bill 2022. Mr. President, I so move.
Distinguished Senator Abdul Kwari, Kaduna North.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Suleiman Abdul Kwari, Kaduna North. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by the very distinguished Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Joint Committees Joint Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, and Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes on the recommittal of Clause 74 of the Process of Crimes Recovery and Management Bill 2022. Say aye. Those against say nay. That is aye. Chairman, you may lead the report. Chairman, we are waiting for you to present the report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, report of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters and Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes on recommittal of Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Bill 2022. On Tuesday, 15th March 2022, the Senate, relying on orders 1B and 52(6), rescinded its decision on Clause 74 of the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Bill 2022 as passed and recommitted same to the Committees on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters and Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes upon a motion moved by distinguished Senator Abdullahi A. Yahya, the leader of the Senate, for the recommittal of the bill. Distinguished senators will recall that on Wednesday, 9th March 2022, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole concluded deliberations on the report of Senate Joint Committee on the bill. Thereafter, the bill was read for the third time. However, after the passage of the bill, series of reactions trailed its passage with respect to Clause 74, which was amended in the course of deliberations on the bill. Consequently, Mr. President, the Senate resolved and recommitted the bill to the Joint Committee to engage the relevant agencies with a view to safeguarding against the alleged abuse and to report back with its recommendations. This Senate decision, in our concerted opinion, is pursuant to Rule 85 Sub 2 of the Senate Standing Orders 2022 as amended, which deals with recommittal and third reading of bills. For the avoidance of doubt, Rule 85 Sub 2 of the Senate Standing Orders provides inter alia, quote, when a bill has been ordered for third reading, any senator who wishes to amend or delete any provisions contained in the bill or to introduce any fresh provision may give notice of his intention on the order for third reading being read to move that the bill be recommitted. If such motion be agreed to, the Senate shall resolve itself into committee immediately or upon such day as the Rules and Business Committee may appoint. When the bill has been reported, the Senate shall then proceed with the third reading of the bill unless the Rules and Business Committee decide to postpone this stage to a later date. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the overall objective of this exercise is to provide for incidental matters such as conflict of laws, errors, omissions, oversight, and corrections to be made and all reconciled in the bill. Joint Committee's legislative action In line with the mandate of the Senate, the Joint Committee invited the relevant agencies to a meeting which took place on Monday, 21st March 2022. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, Code of Conduct Bureau, Nigerian Customs Service, and Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit were in attendance. In their submissions, the agencies took a common position with respect to the provision of Clause 74 as passed by the Senate. Below is the highlight of their submissions. They stated that the implication of maintaining the provision of the clause in its current form is the fear of inclusion of Nigeria among countries in the Financial Action Task Force Grey List. The negative implication of inclusion in the Grey List means that the country will be under increased security scrutiny, which may put a strain on its relationship with foreign investors. This may also have devastating consequences on our already struggling economy. And at the end, it might attract stricter sanctions and ultimately desertification, which may affect our reputation within the country, our Committee of Nations. The investigating agencies assured that maintaining the original provision of Clause 74 as recommended by the Joint Committee is in the best interest of the country and that they will not abuse the powers conferred by this provision as they are subject to their standard operating procedures as well as the guiding principles of Chapter 4 on human rights in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, just because as a joint committee we insisted that the right to own property by any Nigerian is a constitutional right. Thereafter, the committee analyzed the submissions of the agencies and further scrutinized the provision of Clause 74, which is under contention. For the purpose of clarity, the provision of Clause 74 is under Part 11 of the bill on the general provisions relating to legal proceedings. The clause deals with burden of proof. In the original bill, the clause provides as follows. Subject to the provisions of this Act, the defendant in any proceedings under this Act bears the burden of proving that he is the legitimate owner of the asset suspected to be proceeds of crime or derived from unlawful activity, or that the asset is of legitimate origin and is not proceeds of unlawful activity. Whereas the version passed by the Senate provides thus: the burden of proof shall be on the investigating agencies, and there shall be a conviction before the property can be finally seized or forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria. End of quote. Our findings as a joint committee. Based on our painstaking analysis of the provisions, both in the original bill and the version passed by the Senate vis-à-vis the point of contention with regard to Nigeria's international commitment and obligation in line with the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime, and upon our further review and consultations, the Joint Committee hereby makes the following observations and findings. 1, that the provision of the original bill, which provides that the burden of proof lies on the defendant rather than on the investigating agencies as provided in the amendment clause, is appropriate in line with global best practices and conventions to which Nigeria is a signatory. 2, that making it mandatory for a criminal conviction to be established before forfeiture and seizure of proceeds of crime or assets derived from unlawful activities is against the general interest of the intendment of this bill and not in conformity with similar legislations in other jurisdictions. Besides, the standard of proof in civil matters is on the balance of probabilities. 3, that maintaining the provision of Clause 74 of the bill as passed by the Senate will undoubtedly undermine Nigerians' commitment and obligation to the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime, which Nigeria is signatory to and has ratified. 4, that Article 12 of the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime stipulates that state parties may consider the possibility of requiring that an offender demonstrate the lawful origin of alleged proceeds of crime and other property liable to confiscation. As such, the amended clause is inconsistent with the principles of this convention, which Nigeria is a party to. 5, that one of the recommendations of the Financial Action Task Force on non-conviction-based asset forfeiture provides that confiscation and provisional measures should adopt measures similar to those set forth in the Vienna Convention, the Palermo Convention, and the Terrorist Financing Convention, including legislative measures to enable competent authorities to freeze or seize and confiscate assets without prejudicing the rights of bona fide third parties. Accordingly, the provisions of the original bill aligns with this aforementioned provision. 6, that it is strict law in our criminal proceedings that the burden of proof lies on the prosecution. However, in this instance, and in view of the peculiar nature of the proceeds of crime law across the globe, and in line with our obligation with regards to the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime, it is not out of place to have Clause 74 in its original form to be part of this bill. 7, that the provision of Clause 74 as presented in its original form will reverse the challenges hitherto experienced with no recovery of funds and properties as it seeks to consolidate the legal framework regarding forfeiture in the country and ensure the confiscation and civil recovery of proceeds of crime seamlessly. And 8, that one of the salient intendments of Clause 74 is that it ensures the recovery of proceeds of crime with or without conviction. Our recommendation: in the light of the foregoing, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, we hereby recommend as follows: that the Senate do consider and approve the original version of Clause 74 to be part of the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Bill 2022 as passed. We so move, Mr. President, and we thank you and our colleagues for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. Thank you so much.
Leader of the Senate, Committee.
Mr. President, I rise to move that this Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider this report. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate resolves into Committee of the Whole to consider the report say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, I thought the clause will be in a bill. but it's not here.
The clause ought to have been attached. Maybe the secretariat will do. Yes. Yes. It's a clause 74. We have gone through it. We reverted later.
Do you have it here? If you don't have, because of the urgency for the passage, we may pass it because we are simply retaining what is in the original bill. So we go back to the original bill. I'll lift it immediately, but that's supposed to be a secretarial work. But if you have it, it's better. Yeah, okay, Chairman.
Yes. Further informed that it was actually cited in the report, because the issue before the Senate now is to either stand by the clause as was passed or drop it. But in any case, we cited it in the report. And if this report is passed, of course, administratively, it then means that, the Secretariat will effect the necessary changes. But that's why we cited it in the report. But we'll be guided. If the chair decides that we go through the report, the bill itself, as it is, that will also be in order.
Chairman, procedurally, we are supposed to have a bill, even if it is a clause. It's supposed to be in a page as a bill or a clause of a bill. Procedurally, that's how it is supposed to be, not in a report like this. However, because time is of essence in what we are doing with respect to this particular legislation, we won't wait until next week when you will have to bring it. No, because I said time is of essence. Our country needs this bill passed to keep up with international this thing. So what we need to do, we can pass it as it is, because this is simply retaining as it is in the original legislation. And then the Secretariat ensures that you supervise the Secretariat to do that, just to shorten the time that we have to wait. I don't know whether this is okay. Is it okay? Yes, but procedurally we are supposed to have it in a bill form, even if it is one clause. So I will, those in favor that clause 74 of the bill stands, clause 74 stands part of the bill. The original clause 74 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the chair resume plenary in order to report progress. I so move.
The minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The The Senate and the Committee of the Whole considered the Process of Crime, Recovery and Management Bill 2022 and approved as follows. Clause 74 as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I rise to move that this bill be read the third time.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that this bill be now read the third time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act
Clerk, you don't have to read. It's not a bill, it's a clause. So all that I need to do is to direct you to ensure that this clause is reflected as passed. So I do so. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleague, the sixth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Joint Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes and Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions Committee on Public Interest Disclosure and Complaints Enactment Bill 2022. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the Joint Committee on Wednesday, 26 January 2022. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the distinguished Senator Suleiman Abdukari, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Suleiman Abdukari.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, Suleiman Abdukari, Kaduna North. I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Joint Committees on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes and Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions on the Public Interest Disclosure and Complaints Enactment Bill 2022. I so move.
I need a seconder. The Senator Chimaroke Innamani.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Senate President. My name is Chimaroke Innamani. I represent Enugu East Senatorial Zone. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by Senator Kwari Suleiman Abdu, that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Joint Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes and Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions on the Public Interest Disclosure and Complaints Enactment Bill 2022. I so second.
Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Joint Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes and Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions on the Public Interest Disclosure and Complaints Enactment Bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. You may let the report, please. Chairman may present the report.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. The Senate, at its sitting of Wednesday, 26th January 2022, read the public complaints repeal and reenactment bill, second time, and referred same to the joint committees on anti-corruption and financial crimes and ethics, privileges, and public petitions for further legislative action. Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I will go straight into the findings of the public hearing which held with all the relevant institutions attending and making submissions. The presentations made were analyzed by members of the two committees, and we came to this conclusion that the bill, when passed into law, will repeal the Public Complaints Commission Act 2004 and reenact the Public Complaints Commission Act 2022 with expanded mandate to handle the public interest disclosures, otherwise known as whistleblower or whistleblowing bill, in addition to the normal functions of the Public Complaints Commission. The Joint Committee therefore recommends that the Senate do consider and pass the bill for an act to repeal the Public Complaints Commission Act 2004 and reenact the Public Complaints Commission Act 2022 with provisions for a legal framework for making disclosure and the protection of the disclosure and for other related matters. The Joint Committees hereby thank Mr. President and the entire leadership of the Senate for the opportunity given to serve. I so move.
I need a seconder. Distinguished Senator Smart Ademi Kogi West, former comrade.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm standing up to support this motion as part of our struggle. And this struggle continues to make this country a better place, Mr. President. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Anti-Graft Agency that we do approve the submission of the Joint Committee in order to make sure there is effective and free commitment for the war against corruption as captured in this bill, to expand the operations of the Public Complaint Commission to accommodate whistleblowers and other matters related. I so move, Mr. President.
Leader, Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that this Senate resolves in the Committee of the Whole to consider this report. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider the report clause by clause, say aye. Those against, say nay. There is silence. Distinguished colleagues, this is a sensitive and very crucial bill. So I will be a little bit slow so that we are able to observe the clauses very closely. Those Secretariat, some of our colleagues don't have the report. Okay, they will get, provide for them. Those in favor of clauses 1 and 2, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, there is. Sorry? No, of course, we are many here. Clause 3. Hey, Secretariat, bring the reports to Senator Balanalla. Those who are clause 3 and clause 4, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 5 on page 7, functions and powers of the board. Those in favor of clause 5, clause 6, and clause 7, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Senator Balanalla, have you voted? Okay. We are on clause 8. We are on clause 8. And that is page 17. Setting of standards. Those who are at clause 8, clause 9, issuance of guidelines, and clause 10, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 11 is on page 20. Clause 11 is on page 20. Those in favor of clause 11, clause 12, and clause 13, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 14 is on page 25. Clause 14 is on page 25. Powers of Commission in respect of public interest disclosure. Those who are on clause 14, clause 15, and clause 16 on page 27, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 17 on page 28. Those who are on clause 17, clause 18, clause 19, and clause 20, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 21 is on page 30. Those who are on clause 21, clause 22, clause 23, and clause 24, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 25 is on page 33. Those who are on clause 25, clause 26, clause 27, and clause 28, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 29 is on page 38. Those who are on clause 29, clause 30, clause 31, structure of the commission, clause 32, And clause 33, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who are at clause 34 on page 44, annual estimates and expenditure, clause 35, clause 36, clause 37, clause 38, power to invest, clause 39, and clause 40 on page 51, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 41 is on page 51. Those who are at clause 41, clause 42, clause 43, clause 44, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 45 is on page 58. Those who are at clause 45, clause 46, clause 47, clause 48, clause 49, and clause 50, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 51 on page 64, clause 52, clause 53, clause 54, clause 55, on page 67, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the interpretation on page 67, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who were at the short title on page 72, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who were at the schedule, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who were at the explanatory memorandum on page 74, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those who were at the long title on page 1, stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that this chamber resumes plenary for the chair to report progress. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Joint Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions on the Public Interest Disclosure and Complaints Enactment Bill 2022 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clause 1 to 55 as recommended, interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I rise to move that this bill be read the third time. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that this bill be now read the third time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the Public Complaints Commission Act, enact the Public Interest Disclosure and Compliance Commission to provide a framework for making disclosure and protection of disclosure and for other related matters, 2022, third reading.
A bill for an act to establish, a bill for an act to repeal the Public Complaints Commission Act, enact the Public Interest Disclosure and Compliance Commission to provide a framework for making disclosure and protection of disclosure and for other related matters, 2022, third reading taken, and the bill is passed. Well, congratulations to the Senate for passing yet another very important anti-corruption bill to enable the fight against corruption by this administration. Today we have concluded work on two of these bills. One, we amended clause 74 first, and then this bill being passed. So congratulations to the Senate for passing a very, very important piece of legislation that will enable the fight against corruption in all its ramifications. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the seventh order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Henry Seriaki Dixon on the urgent need to name the new head office of NDDC as Harold Dapabire House. In view of the fact, Mr. President, that the mover of this motion is not on a seat today, I would like to move that this bill be stepped down, this motion be stepped down to another legislative day. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that we stand down the consideration of this particular motion till another legislative day, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, the eighth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator George Sekibo and 78 others on the urgent need to appeal the judgment of the Federal High Court Umuahia on suit number FHC UM/CS/26/2022 on section 84 subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022. Accordingly, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator George Thompson Sekibo to move this motion. So submit.
Distinguished Senator George Thompson Sekibo, CON, JP, Rivers East.
Thank you, Mr. Senior President. My distinguished colleagues, I am Senator George Thompson Sekibo. I represent the Rivers East Senatorial District. Mr. President, a motion on the urgent need to repeal the judgment of the Federal High Court Umuahia on suit number FAC/UM/CS/26/2020 on section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022. Mr. President, there are about 80 or more co-sponsors. Some names were inadvertently omitted. They include Shaibi Esa Lao, Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf, and Senator Emmanuel Bracha. Having said that one, may I crave your indulgence to move the motion.
You may proceed.
The Senate, aware that the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria passed the Electoral Bill 2022 and a clean copy forwarded to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for his assent. Aware also that the President Federal Republic of Nigeria assented to the bill into law, which was widely appreciated by the citizens of the country. Observe that a court in Abia State, in a suit marked FAC/MU/SC/26/2022, faulted the provisions of Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022 and declared it unconstitutional, invalid, illegal, null, void, and of no effect. Aware that the said Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act states as follows: no politician at any level, no political appointee at any level shall be voting delegates or be voted for at the convention or congress of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates for any election. Observes further that the judge in his ruling said that Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act was inconsistent with sections 66(1)(f), 107(1)(f), 137(1)(g), and 182(1)(g) of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Note that for ease of reference, the sections relied upon in the judgment as stated above are as follows. Section 66(1)(f) says this: no person shall be qualified for election to the Senate or the House of Representatives if he is a person employed in the public service of the Federation or of any state and has not resigned, withdrawn, or retired from such employment 30 days before the date of election. Section 107(1)(f) says this: no person shall be qualified for election to a House of Assembly if he is a person employed in the public service of the Federation or of any state and he has not resigned, withdrawn, or retired from such employment 30 days before the date of the election. Section 137(1)(g) says this: a person shall not be qualified for election to the office of the President if he, being a person employed in the civil or public service of the Federation or of any state, he has not resigned, withdrawn, or retired from employment at least 30 days before the date of the election. While Section 182(1)(g) states thus: no person shall be qualified for election to the office of governor of a state if, being a person employed in the public service of the Federation or of any state, he has not resigned, withdrawn, or retired from the employment at least 30 days to the date of the election. The Senate knows further that Section 4, 1, 2, and 3 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended vested the power of lawmaking to the Federal Republic of Nigeria on National Assembly and as stated below. Section 4.1. The legislative powers of the Federal Government of Nigeria shall be vested in a National Assembly for the Federation, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. Subsection 2. The National Assembly shall have power to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the Federation or any part thereof, with respect to any matter included in the exclusive legislative list set aside in Part 1 of the second schedule to this Constitution. And subsection 3 says this: the power of the National Assembly to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the Federation with respect to any matter included in the exclusive legislative list shall, same as otherwise provided in this Constitution, be to the exclusion of the House of Assembly of a state. The Senate is aware also that in furtherance to the power vested in the National Assembly, the 1999 Constitution, under the rules of the Executive in Item D, that deals with political parties in Section 228, subsection A, B, and C, confers more powers on the National Assembly, more particularly on political powers and effective management of the electoral process by the Independent National Electoral Commission. See as below. Section 228, subsection A says this: guidelines and rules. The National Assembly may by law provide A, guidelines and rules to ensure internal democracy within political parties, including making laws for the conduct of party primaries, party congresses, and party conventions. B, the conferment on the Independent Electoral Commission of powers as may appear to the National Assembly to be necessary or desirable for the purpose of enabling the Commission more effectively ensure that political parties observe the practice of internal democracy, including the fair and transparent conduct of party primaries, party congresses, and party conventions. And D says this: for the conferment on the Commission of other powers as may appear to the National Assembly, other powers as may appear to the National Assembly to be necessary or desirable for the purpose of enabling the Commission more effectively to ensure that political parties observe the provisions of this part of this chapter. The Senate notes that the Electoral Act 2022 enacted by the National Assembly followed due process of the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as given above. The Senate opines that Section 84, subsection 12 of the 2022 Electoral Act exclusively confers to nominations, conventions, and congresses called for candidate selection and not participation in the general election, with Section 66(1)(f), 107(1)(f), 137(1)(g), and 182(1)(g were referring to. The Senate believes that the interpretation of the meaning of the words civil service and public service as provided in Part 4, interpretation, citation, and commencement in Section 318 of the 1999 Constitution is unambiguous as given below. Part 4, interpretation, citation, and commencement. 318(1). In this Constitution, unless it's otherwise explicitly provided or the context otherwise requires, civil service of the Federation means service of the Federation in a civil capacity as a staff of the office of the President, the Vice President, a ministry, or department of the government of the Federation, assigned with the responsibility for any business of the government of the Federation, while it interprets public service of the Federation as the service of the Federation in any capacity in respect of the government of the Federation, and includes service as A, clerk or other staff of the National Assembly or officials of each house of the National Assembly; B, member of staff of the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the Federal High Court, the National Industrial Court, the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the Sharia Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, or other courts established for the Federation by this Constitution and by an act of the National Assembly. C, public service further means member of staff of any commission or authority established for the Federation by this Constitution or by any act of the National Assembly, government of the Federation. G means staff of any company or enterprise in which the government of the Federation or its agencies hold controlling shares or interest. It means members or officers of the armed forces of the Federation or the Nigerian Police Force or other government security agencies established by law. The Senate knows from the above interpretation that there is a difference between the civil service or public service and political appointment. The Senate believes that the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should show concern on the judgment, especially when she was not given opportunity to represent herself in a matter such as this that emanates from legitimate functions. The Senate finally believes further that letting the judgment to go without concern will become a precedent on which any person could go to the court and obtain judgment to ridicule the good intentions of the National Assembly as an institution. The Senate accordingly resolved to 1. Follow the appropriate channel and appeal the judgment in suit marked FAC/UM/CS/26/2022 for the court to set aside the judgment, as the judgment was reached without due consideration of the constitutional interpretation in section 318 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Mr. President, I so move.
The Deputy Chief Whip.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I am Aliu Sabi Abdullahi. I represent Niger North. Mr. President, I want to second this motion, which is a timely intervention by distinguished Senator Sekibu. And of course, in seconding this, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, let me add that the content of the motion is straightforward, is clear enough, and the resolution sought is also clear enough. And therefore, on the basis of this, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to urge that without much ado, I invite and request humbly that my colleagues do consider this motion as submitted, and to say that we ask that the question be put for us to consider the prayers. Thank you.
Okay, before I put the question, I've made an observation on the prayer. There's only one prayer there. And I will read the prayer and then make my observation for consideration. The prayer is follow the appropriate channel and appeal the judgment in suit marked as written there for the court to set aside the judgment as the judgment was reached without due consideration of the constitutional interpretation in section 318 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. My understanding is as it is left hanging, is suspended. I'm coming, Senator Sanumusa, let me finish my listening. So I will advise an amendment to read, refer to Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters to advise on the appropriate line of action. Because most of us are laymen, but we have also learned men. Our Committee on Judiciary has our lawyers there. Who do they contact? What opinions would they marshal? That they should advise us. But when we say follow the appropriate channel, which one is the appropriate channel? I think they should be our channel. Well, this is the way I'm looking at it. We are not debating Senator Susan.
The President is, just to comment on your remarks, I think that time is of the essence, Mr. President. And so this is straightforward, that the appropriate channel to appeal. So in making an appeal, we do not necessarily need any guidance from the Committee on Judiciary. Appeal is a straightforward thing. So if the Senate takes a decision to appeal, it is for us to get in contact with our lawyers, who will now know what to do. So, but if we refer it to the committee will need to sit. And time is of the essence, Mr. President. Everybody is anxious. So I think we should just go ahead straight and pass this motion as presented, so that we can quickly get lawyers to initiate the process of appeal, Mr. President.
Senator Sani Musa.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, Niger East. Your Excellency, whatever decision Senate will take, I have no problem with it. But my name cannot just appear without anyone consulting me. As such, I want my name to be expunged from this. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, if I understand you, you mean the sponsors, your name appeared as a co-sponsor, and you don't want your name there as a co-sponsor. Secretary, take note. Take note. No amendment, please. Oh, amendment to what? Sorry? Amendment to the prayer. Okay, Senator Patrick Abomoro.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Abomoro. I represent the good people of the Benue South Senatorial District. The amendment that I want to make is as follows to the prayer. Accordingly, Senate resolves to appeal the judgment in suit marked FHC UMC CS 26-2022 for the court to set aside the judgment.
Okay, I need a seconder. Okay, Senator Bolanalla.
Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the amendment ably moved by former comrade Abba Moro for consideration of the Senate. Thank you, sir.
Okay, distinguished colleagues, those in favor that this prayer, the only single prayer as amended, those in favor of the prayer as amended, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, having concluded today's proceedings on all the items on our order paper, I move that the Senate do adjourn until Tuesday, 29th March 2022 at 10 a.m. prompt. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Having taken this decision to appeal this judgment and following the very, very good motion moved by my leader, I so second the motion.
Distinguished colleagues, before I put the question announcement, APC Senate Caucus notice of meeting. There will be APC Senate Caucus meeting with the CPC at the national headquarters on Thursday, that's tomorrow, March 24, 2022. Buses conveying distinguished senators will leave by 3:30 at the Senate entrance. Venue number 40, Blantyre Street, Wusseson 2. Time 4 p.m. Signed, Senator Yahya Abdullahi, OON, PhD Senate leader. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do adjourn till Tuesday, the 29th of March, 2022 at 10 a.m. from say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. The Senate is hereby adjourned till Tuesday, 29th day of March, 2022 at 10 a.m. prompt. And I wish our distinguished colleagues of the APC extraction and all those that may like to join us a very successful convention on the 26th of March 2022. You are free to join us. Don't be late. Thank you.